speaking of Elon Musk, we will talk about Elon Musk a little bit because yesterday on 420, they got rid of all of the legacy verification Twitter check marks. And because he's a meme lord and he doesn't know how to exist without memeing, he left certain people's check marks. He basically said that he paid for LeBron James and William Shatner to have.
I think Taylor Swift might also be on the list that he's paying for her because he's a simp for Taylor Swift.
We know that he wants to have kids with Taylor Swift.
I can't believe in my mind that Taylor Swift agreed to pay for Twitter Blue.
Oh, I think she did. I think she's a business person.
Above all, she feigns moral outcries.
Think so?
Over being a businesswoman.
She's I'm a businesswoman.
But Elon Musk wants to date her, so
he does.
He's happy to get the bill for her Twitter Blue subscription.
But my favorite part is LeBron James says he denies paying for Twitter checkmark, and that they think Elon is trolling.
You should be able to force Twitter Blue on somebody, though.
He's like, you want to like, I don't have Twitter Blue, but it's like almost out of like a form of like, I'm not going to pay for a checkmark. I don't want the checkmark. There's a really good bit recently where Ryan Long does a bit with Trevor Wallace about like paying for Instagram check marks, and then like they're like talking to people like, oh, so they make sure their phone is constantly showing them that they have the check mark on it and stuff like that. But I would like to actually be able to pay for it and not get the check mark just so that I can have the edit feature. Like, I'd like to be able to have the edit feature but not have to have the blue check mark.
Oh, so if you have a check mark, you can edit your tweets?
Yeah, like if you pay for Twitter Blue, you can edit your tweet. You can make edits on your tweets and stuff like that. I'd like the edit feature. I don't want the check mark. I don't need the check mark.
I don't even care about the ability to edit my tweets because when you edit it, it says last edited at timestamp, and then they're able to look at the old version.
Right.
Does anybody do that? Do you think people? Yeah.
It shows the old version of your tweet there.
Does it do that?
Yes.
Oh,
so it's not even worth it.
Never mind. I don't want to do it anymore. You ruined it for me. Now I don't want to.
But can LeBron James be like a conscientious objector to?
He's like, look,
Twitter
I don't
Blue?
like Elon Musk or what he stands for, and I would never fade. So now what Musk needs to do is go find a bunch of people that hate him and pay for their Twitter Blues so that it makes them feel like they like him now.
So he just eliminated people. Like, theoretically, these people had check marks before you actually had to pay for it. But since they didn't pay for it, he just, like, got rid of them?
Yeah, so now people, unless you pay for Twitter Blue, no check marks.
Right. Now Stephen King said, my Twitter account says I've subscribed to Twitter Blue. I haven't. My Twitter account says I've given a phone number.
It's a troll. It's a troll because he knows that Stephen King was complaining
and
about
Elon just said, you're welcome, namaste.
Yeah, like I love Elon Musk for this because he has the sense of humor of a 12-year-old boy, and that's my favorite part. Like he's absolutely
he just tweeted such a great day in so many ways.
He gets to live like he gets to be the sarcastic 12-year-old just to a bunch of rich people and billionaires. Awesome. And everyone should strive to keep their inner child alive.
He's replying to a bunch of people saying like, I'll pay for yours. He's like, you get a verification, you get a verification.
Like, I love that he also just answers random people at like 1 a.m. that have like that not famous people. Like he just gets in like it's like I imagine
do you
he
have
doesn't
anything
sleep.
better to do?
I don't think he sleeps. He probably has like a cryo sleep thing where he gets to. Did you ever see the movie Die Another Day where the guy gets like it's a James Bond movie and the guy can sleep for an hour and that's all he sleeps every night. He's a rich guy who's like I can't sleep anymore.
That.
Yeah.
Well,
so
just last night he was in a reply chain with someone and said, have to sleep. Couldn't sleep last night because of Starship launch.
Yeah.
So he has good reasons.
He's a busy guy. But it says that Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, and Khloe Kardashian still seem to be paying for their check marks. Taylor Swift's got the $8 a month. She's like one of the richest people on earth.
Britney Spears. Oh, interesting.
But this is what we really have to look at. Bette Midler has an absolute meltdown after Twitter removes her blue check mark and calls Elon Musk a pathetic douche. How old is Bette Midler? That's not very becoming of a woman of her advanced age. Frankly, you'd think she'd have a little bit more social decorum.
Haven't we talked about her before?
She has so much to say all the time.
She's someone who never shuts up, even for her own good. She said, Elon took my blue check away. I'm unverified. After all these years and thousands of tweets and free content, this worm has the nerve to decertify me.
Okay, calling it content, like we already make fun of content creators. Remember when they were trying to make fun of calling CNN content creator network,
right?
News network. So it's like it's already a stigma. Calling yourself a content creator because you post tweets is
it's
unbelievable.
Free content,
right? But she continues on.
Yes. Elon deciding that I'm not me, I'm a fake, and obliging me, who has contributed mightily to your platform, debatable.
Super
At least
debatable.
until you tweaked the algorithm and tanked my metrics. To pay monthly because you don't have enough money and you're humiliated because everyone thinks you're pathetic. No, everyone thinks you're a pathetic douche. Is the funniest thing you've ever done. Let that sink in. Sorry to hear about your rocket.
Oh, that's brutal.
I wonder what her grandkids think of these tweets. I wonder if her grandkids are like, on God, Bet, you gotta stop. Also, there's a $20 one there from Jazz.
Let's see. Sorry, they come in later for me. I don't see it.
It says, I just found out that the hammer on the gun that Alec Baldwin used was altered. Well, I don't know if that's the same. They were saying the trigger was altered in the one we were reading earlier.
Yeah.
If so, wouldn't that make this like some type of intentional act? Like, are they
who
saying,
modified
are they
it
saying, was it
and
modified to make it
why?
less dangerous? Because if that's true, then they screwed up. Like, what would be the purpose of the modification?
Yeah, that's interesting. If the hammer was modified and then what they're saying that it could just go off, he then might not have pulled the trigger.
What
And what would be the
modification allows a gun to fire itself?
And maybe he's just too weak and he couldn't cock the hammer back. And he couldn't pull the hammer back. And they're like, can you fix it for me? I'm old. He's like, help me.
So they weren't recording the rehearsal.
No, I don't think there's video of it all. They've started shooting again. Can you imagine the first person who had to like be like? Do you think they picked up that scene?
Hey, what do you want from Crafty?
Yeah, do you think they picked up right back where they left off on that scene, or is that scene? Hopefully, that scene got cut entirely, and they're not doing that scene at all. Imagine having to be back there and filming that scene again. I feel like, irrespective of all that went on there, just canceling the movie would have been the better thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now the footage of that happening still exists.
There is footage?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well,
I
it?
didn't
That's
see
been
Oh,
part
yes.
of this the
Okay,
whole
yes.
time.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Never mind.
It was on.
Yeah, because a lot of times they still record.
Wait, so
Camera,
if it was recorded, then they could see.
whether his hand
he
was
pulled
on.
the
Yeah.
trigger. Maybe his hand wasn't in the shot.
Hmm.
I mean,
if it could have been a shoulder.
But it's not like I want
if
them
it was
to
a close
release
up.
the footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to find that second unit that shoots that does those shots right there, right? That second unit photography that shoots all of the inserts of people's hands, but they usually do that after the fact anyway.
Right.
It's funny that Bette Midler said that he tweaked the algorithm to tank her metrics, which actually just means he stopped artificially inflating her metrics.
But also the height of narcissism.
I think it's interesting that she pays attention to her metrics. Like,
She's like 80.
what does it even matter?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing on Twitter?
Like, don't you have like family or people to be
Yeah.
hanging out with? I guess maybe that's the problem, right? That Hollywood doesn't promote family anymore, and they're not.
Don't create families, create content.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, who needs? Well, it's, that's why we sent women into the workforce so that we can double the taxes, and now we're don't have families. Just go out and post things on Twitter so that Bette Midler can get a boost in her metrics.
Ben Stiller had a measured response. He said, "No blue check. Still feel like me."
Aww,
See?
good guy.
That's
See? But a lot of people, it's telling. A lot of people don't feel like them anymore.
Yeah.
They,
So I had Twitter. I had a blue check. They get you the check
Yeah.
marks when you have a project to promote. This is back 2012, and then I started saying, well, no, okay. So I changed my name on Twitter. I wanted it to be something else because it was whatever, and they took it away. They took my check mark away when this was right before I started speaking out. But it was really unfortunate because it would have been so more verifying to have a blue check mark while speaking out. And it was interesting because it was like a little bit less attention through the things that I was saying there versus on Instagram where there's utter hysteria.
because of the
Yeah.
Because the check mark.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't really matter. You have a check mark.
it does something to people in
It
their brains.
does. It does.
Does this do you get into a lot of these discussions on Instagram?
2020, I was dead. I almost have PTSD thinking about this amount of time I spent on social media talking to people because I thought that I'd be able to change people's minds, but even more than change people's minds, speaking directly to them, the answers that I left were so thought out so that if anyone came across the thread, they would be able to read it and be like, maybe that, or whatever. I spent hours talking to people in these.
Do you regret it?
I don't know how I could do it. It was probably like sort of a manic episode because the peak of the energy of what was going on, it was like right after the BLM peaceful protests and all that stuff. And November was hitting for the election. It was like, in my mind, it was do or die. Like, we have to get this person in, or it's going to be the end of the world.
It's really funny. I had that not quite the same thought, but I remember at that time I was still posting new skating edits every day. And normally what it was is I skate every single day, and I would post a new edit every day. But I had like a backlog of like 15 to 20 edits just because I was making so much content at the time. And the day of the election, I ended up moving that one up and posting it that day because what I was doing is I was posting skating edits, but all of them had voiceovers in which I would talk about what was going through my mind that day. They basically like journals, but with skating tricks. And I mentioned like a certain amount of like social anxiety relating to the election. And that was as close to political as you'll see me get on social media because I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in arguing with you on social media. I know what I believe. If you want to have that discussion in person, we can have that discussion in person. I disagree with people. Me and Mary love to disagree on things all the time. It's like that's fine. In person, that's different. On social media, I don't have the time for it. But I ended up posting something about it that day, and I got responses from people who are like, dude, tonight's freaking awful.
Right.
And it's just like by the next morning I'm like, it's not the end of the world. It's gonna suck, whatever, but it's not the end of the world.
Right.
But it is weird, like, because for me it's the opposite. Instagram was like a safe haven because I just didn't talk about it. I just wasn't interested. Most of the people that I followed were people from skating, which is a different industry. So it's like my Twitter now, I just restarted Twitter this year, is almost all this industry and politics. Even though I'm not really interested in politics, I still keep up with it. Whereas Instagram, it's like two different worlds.
Yes,
it's literally like
really
completely different things.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Bette Midler could use with some cleansing of her timeline.
Yeah, there are just so many people with actual worms in their brain who think that a verification check mark makes them who they are in real life.
That's so sad.
Genuinely. People who probably subscribe to like the New York Times.
Wall Street Journal.
And honestly, Elon taking over showed just how much artificial support there is for those institutions in the first place. He, like, adding the view count showed how few people actually even look at these posts.
I was mentioning the other day, I got that random message where it says, like, somebody you follow is following Ed Krasenstein. I'm like, I don't follow Ed Krasenstein. Why are you sending me this? I don't I don't give a crap about Ed Krasenstein. They were here.
Someone tweeted, Elon thinks this is a funny joke. As a former verified account who lost their blue check mark, I know how dangerous this really is. People are going to die.
It has to be a troll, right?
Celebrities are being defamed left and right. Internet live streamer Hassan Piker has brought attention to several impersonators, including one who is telling people that he's a homosexual.
Dude, like when I read the one of the person saying people are gonna die, I'm like, this has to be. It's like that.
Yeah,
my favorite person on Twitter is that Angela Belcamino, like satire account where she's like, this is the face of a liberal walking through a conservative town. It's just a girl. She just walks through it. She just walks while smiling. It's like the greatest Twitter account. It's very cleverly done satire. There's a $20 one right there.
Hopefully I see this one. Mass beep.
Somebody named Jenna
said, first time super chatting, you guys. Love the show. I take great joy in watching celebrities cry about a blue check mark, about as juvenile as a kid being pissed about the color of iPhone they got for Christmas. Cry more, you plebs.
I mean, I only had an iPhone back when they weren't colors. I never had an iPhone with a color. I had an iPhone. That was a 5.
There was just white and black iPhones.
That was the last time I had an iPhone. It was an iPhone 5.
Wait, you don't have an iPhone?
No, I'm an Android person.
Are you too?
I have an iPhone.
Okay.
In fact, I had an 8 until the other day, but I had to switch out for one of the newfangled ones.
She's like one of the only people I've ever met in Gen Z. She's perfectly fine just not going places with her. She'll just leave her phone up here and she can just live without her phone.
It's probably more like a symptom of like autism and not being able to handle stimuli than self-control.
It's
Sounds like
very
freedom.
impressive.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Things
No,
at
I
once.
can't either.
Well, me, it's like because I technically always have like music playing because in my I have my headphone in my bad ear, and so there's basically like background music playing all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like now I don't know how to live without that. I have to work on that.
Right.
It's not good. For this topic, I think a little bit of touching grass would go well for a lot of these people. That the blue check mark is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
What is touching grass mean?
You know,
Is that like
engaging
a saying?
with the real world.
Touching grass.
Touch grass.
Got it.
You know, I think that is
Yeah.
proven that walking on grass barefoot does improve mental health.
Yes.
There's a reason why I make so many posts about going out and skating at night, and I even point out and say, God bless America. I love it.
You say, God bless America.
Exactly.
Crisis.
Like going and getting fresh air. For me, it's skating. I know that you go to the skate park. You guys go to the skate park, right? The family does?
A lot, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, every day.
In the daytime in Arizona?
Yeah, we're brutal.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've been to Arizona, never the skate park during the day, dude.
Yeah.
Only at night.
Yeah.
Only at night. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.